Okay, hello everyone. My name is Najib Fajrino, and for my conversation midterm assignment, I will be discussing one of the most important economics issues in Indonesia today. The title will be The Weakening of the Rupiah and what it reveals about the relationship between government narratives. There, the title will be The Weakening of the Rupiah and what it reveals about the relationship between government narratives, national economic policy, and global economic forces. Now let's get into the discussion. Okay, guys. So, like we already knew, recently the Indonesian rupiah has continued to depreciate against the USD. And at the first glance, this may appear to be merely a financial matter that something relevant to only to economics, investors, or policymakers. But however, in reality, exchange rate volatility affects nearly every aspect of public life, from inflation and purchasing power to business stability and long-term national economic confidence. And what makes this issue even more interesting is how it has been framed politically. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto recently said the people in village do not use US dollars anyway, implying that the weakening of the rupiah may not directly affect ordinary citizens. And while this statement may be intended to reassure the public, it raises an important critical question. Can economic hardship really be separated from global financial dynamics simply because transactions are made in rupiah? And the answer is clearly no. Why is the answer is no? It's because okay, so even though most Indonesia, especially those in rural areas, never directly use dollars, they are still deeply affected. They are still deeply affected by the rupiah exchange rate. Indonesia remains highly dependent on imported goods such as fuel, food commodities, medicine, and industrial raw materials, which all of which are priced in USD. And when the rupiah weakens, imports costs rise. These higher costs eventually translate into increased price for transportation, groceries, electricity, and other daily necessities. And okay, however, it will be overly simplistic to blame global conditions alone. The situation also exposed Indonesia's structural vulnerabilities, particularly its dependence on imports and its limited resilience against the external shocks. And this is where the government role becomes essential, not only in stabilizing the currency through institutions like Bank Indonesia, but also in implementing long-term economic reforms that strengthen domestic production, reducing import dependency, and improve national competitiveness. And most importantly, political leaders must communicate economic realities with honesty and responsibility. Reassuring statements may provide temporary comfort, but they should not replace serious public discussion about the challenges the country is facing. So, in conclusion, the weakening of the rupiah is not merely a currency issue. It is a reflection of Indonesia's position within an interconnected global economy and a test of how effectively national leadership responds to economic uncertainty. And understanding this issue is important because it reminds us that economic policies and political statements can have real consequences for everyday people, regardless of where they live. And I guess that's it for today. That's it for my conversation things. Thank you very much for your time and for listening to my presentation. I apologize if there are any mistakes or shortcomings in my explanation. I hope this discussion has provided a more critical perspective on the issue and help us better understand the broader economic challenges facing Indonesia today. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Have a great day, and thank you.